Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I have an episode review of the old classic Goosebumps TV show for The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, which I just reviewed this book, read it for the first time, never read it before, really good read, recommended highly. The episode I watched in this bootleg box set thing, this is Season 1 and Season 2 in here, the next one that looks identical to this has Season 3 and 4. I've shown you guys this a billion times, I'd just like to point it out what it is, in case somebody new comes to the channel and they don't know what this is for whatever reason. Goosebumps. Love the show. Big fan of the show. Absolutely. Never seen this TV episode before. Ever. Like I said, never read the book either. And I wanted to spend time today. I finished reading the book. Finally caught up after daylight savings time and after a really bad week last week and not uploading anything like I said in my previous book review for this book. It's been hectic, so I finally got some time today to just sit down and watch the episode, read the book entirely. I read like 90 pages of that book today and finished it after like 2 weeks of not reading past like page 30 because I was just busy, which is always the excuse I have to give. It's not really a fair excuse, but sorry. Anyway, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom is actually the third episode of Season 1, so it's one of the first episodes we got. Pretty much the first episode after The Haunted Mask, which was a two-parter. So technically the first two episodes of the original season are Haunted Mask Part 1 and Part 2. This is technically the second real adaptation the show ever did. It's not amazing. I don't think it's bad, but it's not like great. It's not what I personally think could be the best adaptation within like 20-something minutes for a Goosebumps book. But it's not awful. It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen. It came out on November 3rd of 1995, which was 4 days before my 1 year birthday. You know, 1 year celebration, whatever. The main kid in here is played by John White, who I kept trying to figure out where I knew this kid from. And then it occurred to me as I looked through his IMDb profile, I knew him from, he plays Steve on The Haunted Mask 2. Haunted Mask 2 being one of my favorite episodes of Goosebumps of all time. Easily my top 5. That two-parter is wonderful. It's so much fun. It's one of my favorite Haunted Mask books being adapted, and it's just different enough that I love it even more. And I grew up on that one. This kid's solid here. He's better in Haunted Mask 2 as Steve, but he's good here. He didn't really have much of a career. I saw that he was in American Pie Naked Mile, which I've seen. I saw that many years ago when I was a kid on TV. It looks like a guy named Larry Manell plays the dad in here. And I'm looking through, and I don't know what I know him from. I've never seen Hairspray, never seen Doc, never seen The Music Man. I don't know where I've seen this guy from, but he looks super familiar. There's another famous actor that he looks a lot like. This episode was directed by John Bell, by the way, which I probably should have went ahead and already looked to see what this fella had directed when it came to these. Apparently he directed 7 Goosebumps episodes. John Bell directed The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Girl Who Cried Monster, Phantom of the Auditorium, Return of the Mummy, Bad Hair Day, Don't Go to Sleep, and Click. So he got some of the worst episodes, frankly, but I think this is better on his end. Phantom of the Auditorium might be a little bit better. Return of the Mummy is real rough, you know? Bad Hair Day is rough. But anyway, it's not amazing. As you can tell, my personal reaction on this. The book is really solid. The book is really solid, and this episode kind of follows along with that, and it maintains a lot of the things that make the book good, but it's also like an excerpt of the book, like portions of the book, the good parts of the book. It's a little bit more generic, a little bit more something you've already seen. That the book, I think, did a better twist on this whole kind of little bit of a twist on a Groundhog Day type of living the same day over and over again, but it really isn't that type of scenario. If you don't know the story of this, basically the main character kid, Michael, which I remember that because my name is Michael. What do you want me to tell you? I'm selfish and an egotist. Anyway, he is about to have his birthday party. He has an awful sister named Tara, who is just a brat, which is hilarious. The little girl playing her is very cute here. But in the book, it was like she was, from what I remember, she was a little bit older. Like, she was younger than Michael, but she was a little bit older. I think she was probably 8 or 9, somewhere in there. Maybe I'm wrong. But in the book, she was a lot more mean-spirited, and here she's mean, but she's also, like, funny mean, like, cute mean, you know? Like, just a brat, you know? In the book, she's likable, but also, like, just a mean-spirited kid. Anyway, so she's always beating up Michael and hurting him and stuff. Ruins his birthday party. And then, like a couple of days after his birthday, Michael's dad finally brings home a cuckoo clock from an antique shop that is a very beautiful looking clock. I like cuckoo clocks quite a bit. I don't own one, but I like them. And this one has a very ugly bird that comes out of it, for the cuckoo bird that pops out of the clock. It's very ugly. It wasn't like generic like I thought it probably. To be a Goosebumps thing, it's fine for what it is. To be a real life thing, it looked dumb. It was just ugly. The bird was very, I don't know how to explain it. If you've seen the episode, you know what I'm talking about. It's just a hairy bird, Anyway, not feathery, hairy. I mean that when I say that. Is a cuckoo bird supposed to have hair on it? I don't know. Anyway, it does here. So, Michael takes that bird, and he twists its head back. But he and his dad and his sister also happen to notice, too, when they're tinkering around with the clock, and the mom is tinkering around with the clock as well, that there's some knobs on there that happen to also mark the year on this clock. So apparently it keeps track of the date as well. That part works better in the book than in here. I don't know why, but it just does to me. Michael, when he twists the bird's head back when no one else is around in the middle of the night, it's kind of a way to prank and frame Tara for messing with the clock, because the dad tells both of them, I don't want you anywhere near my clock. This is a prized possession of mine. I've always wanted this thing. You will not touch it. Apparently he's been looking at it, according to the book, he's been looking at it for like 15 years. In the episode, it comes across like he's just coming across this thing every once in a while. Anyway, when Michael turns the head back, he wakes up the next day, and now it's his birthday again. And it's apparently we went like 2 or 3 days back in the past, right? Well, every day that he wakes up, it's kind of like the reverse Groundhog Day. Like I said, it's not so much waking up and living the same day over and over again. It's just he's living the same days of his life over and over again, and he's aging to be younger and younger. The thing is, in the book, it's kind of like it might skip a few days, and then skip a few days, and all of a sudden jump years ahead of time, right? And that's what kind of heightened the stakes on that, because you didn't know how far it was going to jump back. You didn't know if today was going to be your last day in your past, Because you didn't know if it was going to jump to before you were born or anything, right? It added a little bit of stakes to that. In this episode, they skip like the day-to-day jumping. They go straight to like, oh, today you woke up on your birthday? Well, bam, now you woke up and you're 6, It just jumps so far ahead so fast. I know it's a 20-minute long time frame. It doesn't need to be a 2-parter, and I don't want to say like this would have been better as a 2-parter or as a 40-minute long episode, let's say. I just don't think it needed to be that, frankly. And so being a 20-minute episode, it kind of feels rushed a little bit. The budget doesn't feel amazing. John Bell typically gets the episodes like that are not super great budget episodes. But to be what it is, it's fine. I don't hate it by any means. I'm just underwhelmed, frankly. And I'm surprised. This one's rated like a 7.7, I think. Yeah, 7.7 out of 10. Why would anybody rate this at like a 7.7 out of 10? It's almost an 8, dude. This is a different episode compared to a lot of Goosebumps episodes. It's a different book compared to most of the Goosebumps books, I'd say. That's what I said about the book, too, is that it was refreshing. I would not call this episode amongst the Goosebumps episodes of the TV show refreshing, Something like Night of the Living Dummy 3 or Haunted Mask 2 are refreshing. Night in Terror Tower is refreshing. I don't mean to just have 2-parters off the top of my head, but something like this or like the original Monster Blood episode is different. It's just kind of bland, but it's kind of different. That more Monster Blood episode where they're on the plane feels better. It feels like a refreshing change because we haven't had a book based on that. This is like kids trapped in a plane. It's like snakes on a plane, but with green goo that's eating everybody, And I loved it. It was it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was different. It was goofy. It was very silly. This episode is silly too, but it doesn't pull it off well. That's kind of sad in my opinion. I wished it was better. But anyway, trying to think of anything else. There was a Home Alone reference in here. That when Michael has aged to be a kid, like a younger kid, like 6, he says something when he's looking in the mirror and realizes how young he is, and then he turns around, smacks his face, and screams at the camera. I laughed out loud. And then, as he keeps aging younger and younger. There is one joke in here, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if most people, like kids out there, are watching this. I'm not going to spoil it for any adults out there, but kids, young kids, I don't know if you're even going to catch the one joke in here about the thermometer, because it happened so quick that it caught me off guard. The thermometer joke, it was not in the book, as far as I remember. I read it this morning, got to that portion of this storyline. I'm pretty certain that wasn't in the book. That quick little joke about the thermometer, I don't want to tell you what it is, because it's too good. I don't want to ruin it. You need to see the episode just for that joke alone. You can spend 20 minutes of your life for that 5 seconds of glorious joking about a thermometer. I'm telling you, I cackled out loud when I heard that joke, and I had to pause the episode because I couldn't stop. It just, the reaction, the line delivery, the thermometer itself, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in Goosebumps, frankly. I don't know whose idea that was. I don't know if it was John Bell, an actor or actress, the screenwriter. I don't know who it was. But somebody had that joke in the back of their head, and it was in the early days of Goosebumps TV, right after the Haunted Mask episode. Not saying this was filmed earlier than all the other ones, I don't know. But if it was, somebody had this in their head when they were still thinking about darker storylines to adapt to this TV show. Somebody thought of that thermometer joke to put in kids' TV. And I'm telling you, that was one of the funniest things. I don't even know how intentionally funny it was supposed to be. It was clearly planned, clearly written out, all that yada yada, but just the way it was put together with the ADR and everything was hysterical. It was absolutely hysterical. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in Goosebumps. One day when I rank the episodes, that's going to be the biggest thing I have to consider about ranking them. Because I need to have that in there. I need to have that recommended as why I have the Cuckoo Clock of Doom set higher than a lot of the other bad episodes or rough episodes. Because that joke alone is a zinger, man, I'm telling you. Anyway, I don't really have much more to talk about with this. As you can tell, if I'm worried about just the thermometer joke that caught me off guard, there's not much else to talk about with this. It's not really a time-traveling story. It's not really a Groundhog Day story. It has more in common with a Groundhog Day story than a time travel story. It's bland, you know? If you haven't read the book and you've seen this episode and kind of had, like, the ending ruined for you and stuff, the book isn't going to be as special. But that journey the book puts you through is a little bit better, I think. I think it's a better, more well-developed fun time, you know? And I think a lot of people would like it more, frankly. I think a lot of fans like it a lot more. I'm so curious to see what people like Completionist thinks about this episode when I see his video on YouTube. Because I haven't watched his video yet, and I think he just uploaded a review for the book and the episode yesterday. I believe Goosebumps Completionist did. But I have got to see what he thinks about this, because that thermometer joke, if there's no mention of that thermometer joke, Completionist, I will be disappointed. And if you blink, you miss that joke. So I won't be mad, but I'll be sad and disappointed. Anyway, when it comes to the Cuckoo Clock of Doom, this episode's a mess. The only thing I have in common with this is the funny thermometer joke and the birthday thing about how it's like 4 days before my birthday when I was going to turn 1 year old, because I was born in '94. Aside from that, it's a miss. It's a swing and a miss, frankly, and I'm kind of let down by that. I figured for a 20-minute adaptation of a book like this that needed most of the book and possibly even longer than what the book gave you to really make this work, I figured it was probably going to be a failure, and it kind of was. You know, but I also didn't have a bad time watching. I typically don't have a bad time watching Goosebumps. It's got to really suck for me to hate it, you know? It really has to. Movies that are not even Goosebumps things, they have to be really freaking bad for me to hate it, right? Like, deeply hate it. Because I try to make it little exceptions and understandings and excuses. Most people don't do that. Most audiences don't do that for things. I think I like this slightly more than people do because of the thermometer joke, and if the thermometer joke wasn't in this, I would like it even less than I like it. So, The Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Season 1, Episode 3. If I had to rate this episode on a 5-star basis, I'd give it like a 3 out of 5 stars, and that's because of the thermometer joke. If it hadn't been that, it would have been like a 2 out of 5. But it's a 3 out of 5 for me for right now, because I love that joke, and it was hysterical. The Home Alone reference was cute. And it has some other fun things to it, I guess. But I like the atmosphere. I like a lot of the looks of the stuff. There's one particular thing in here that I do want to mention for the CGI stuff, special effects stuff. There's a scene where Michael is running away from the cuckoo clock in a nightmare sequence down a hallway. And the cuckoo clock opens up. And the thing that pops out of there is the worst editing I've ever seen in my life, frankly. I won't spoil what it is, but it looks awful. It's stupid. It's horrible looking. That's the kind of thing that makes me want to do, at some point later on down the road, when the channel is kind of done with book reviews and stuff, or maybe when it gets to the end of the book reviews here on this channel, I would kind of like to do like commentary episodes, or commentary videos on the episodes, and just record me talking while I watch them, whether it be on camera, whether it be on microphone, something like that. I kind of want to go that route at some point later on down the road on this channel, God willing, because the reaction of the thermometer thing is wonderful, and it will always make me laugh. And just to talk about things like the special effects I was just referring to with the nightmare sequence, or things like the thermometer joke, are what the kind of things that would make this fun, you know? This is the one big time, aside from some other times like Night in Terror Tower and all that, it's one of those things where I really truly wish that I had done like a reaction review type of thing with episodes, to just show you my first reaction to some of these. It's not too late, but it's also kind of like, I don't have many episodes left. Maybe 10 that I have left to review. I don't even know how many I have left. I don't have many books left, you know? There might be even less episodes than I think there is, aside from the trilogy, which doesn't have a book. I wish I had done reactions to these episodes I hadn't seen before, like this particular one, because, man, that thermometer joke, if you guys had seen how long it took me to stop laughing from that, you probably would have been annoyed, but it would have been a memorable moment on the channel, because that was a whole nother level of Goosebumps I didn't know I needed in my life, because the book itself is very dark for Cuckoo Clock of Doom. That episode didn't really have as much darkness to it until that one joke, you know, which I won't forget. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Cuckoo Clock of Doom? Do you love this episode? Do you hate this episode? Let me know down in the comment section down below what you think about it. Is it one of your favorites? Is it one of your least favorites? Do you hate it? I would be surprised if people say that they really like this as much as the ratings resemble on IMDb. I just can't see people putting this at like an 8 out of 10, dude. I don't see it. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you. What's your favorite part of this episode? Let me ask you that too. Put that down there. I'd love to hear what you have to say about that, because the thermometer joke, that's my favorite moment. It's wonderful. It's hilarious. Great, great joke. I'm proud of whoever put that in the show. Thank you for watching. God bless you guys, and goodbye.